Foundation Season 3 just dropped its most game-changing episode yet, and it's got everything. Shocking deaths, secret visions, an attack on New Terminus, and maybe the biggest twist yet about the Mule's true identity. Welcome back to Your Nerdy Show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Episode 6 doesn't just move the story forward, it flips the board, changes the stakes, and leaves us questioning everything we thought we knew. So let's break down every major moment, hidden clue, and theory that could redefine the rest of the season. Demerzel confronts Gaal. Gaal didn't expect Demerzel to track her down so soon, but that's exactly what happens. Demerzel tells her she followed Dawn's nanites, and then drops the bomb. Dawn is dead. The airlock he was in suffered explosive decompression, and that spacesuit we all thought might save him? Nope. Gaal tries to attack Demerzel, which goes about as well as you'd expect when you go up against a 1,000-year-old AI. Demerzel chokes her, demanding answers. Why did Dawn team up with her? And how long has Harry known she's a robot? That second question flips the tone. Turns out, Harry always knew. Demerzel had been feeding him data from her systems for years, and it helped form the basis of psychohistory. Gaal seizes on that. If Demerzel once believed in Harry's plan, she should still believe in it now. And believing in the plan means believing in Gaal. She even reveals the existence of the second foundation, convincing Demerzel that the anomaly in her math isn't an error, it's them.
How long did he know?
From the moment we met, he knew. I do not know how.
Interrogations and the nature of outliers. Once Gaal has Demerzel's attention, they get into the nitty-gritty. The Mule, Gaal, and the Mentalics are outliers, so far outside the normal flow of human history that the Prime Radiant struggles to account for them. That's why Gaal's ability to view the future feels like a glitch in the plan. Gaal explains she can view time non-linearly, similar to the Spacers. Demerzel isn't buying it without proof, so she decides to use her own brand of interrogation. In true sci-fi style, it involves extracting filaments from the sinuses and something she calls otoacoustic nerves, basically fictional tech inspired by real-world ear biology. Through this process, Demerzel sees Gaal's vision, the one where the Mule has her in the Imperial Library on Trantor. But she pushes deeper, overloading both of them. Gaal's heart stops, Demerzel's systems glitch, and the ship suffers an EMP surge. Demerzel jumpstarts Gaal's heart with her hands and casually drops the real takeaway. In 4 months, Gaal will be orbiting the ergosphere of a black hole. Sound familiar? It should. The Invictus was mentioned in connection to black holes back when Dusk was tinkering with it. This basically confirms Gaal's path will lead her there. Whether that's to use it against the Mule or fall into some larger trap, we'll have to see.
Look, I am not here.
Day visits Song in Mycogen. Over on Trantor, Day is wandering through the Mycogen district like a bizarre mix of Chris Pine in Pool Man and Jeff Bridges in The Big Lebowski. He's clearly heard about Calgon's destruction, but he's oddly indifferent, more focused on food stalls than galactic disasters. He heads to see Song, and here's where last week's theory about Demerzel faking the memory wipe crumbles. Song really doesn't remember their time together. She recalls being chosen as Day's consort and returning to Mycogen, but everything in between is gone. Day tries to win her back, even offering her stolen makeup from Demerzel's kit. Song, however, is terrified she's in trouble. Day's persistence quickly shifts to frustration. He wants her to reinstall her memories, and when she refuses, he pushes harder, even dangling hints about meeting a robot, clearly fishing for her inheritance loyalties. But this doesn't win her over. Instead, her partner Oceanglass arrives, stuns Day with an electric blast, and makes it clear he's been tracking Day since he entered the district. Whether they'll kill him, ransom him, or just humiliate him remains unknown, but Day's little side trip might be over for good.
I started to believe I would never meet her.
The Mule's vision. Now, the Mule has been having recurring visions of a woman's face, and thanks to scanning Pritchard's mind, he now knows it's Gaal. His obsession becomes clear. Destroy her before she destroys him. But here's where it gets interesting. The Mule wakes up next to Vandag. Is this a sign of a romantic relationship or just proximity between trusted allies? And when he mentions wearing someone else's dreams, could this mean he actually isn't the Mule at all? Some book readers are theorizing that Palu Aspect's character is Baal Chanus, the Mule's general, and that Magnifico is the real Mule. The idea? The real Mule manipulates Baal's mind so completely that Baal believes he is the Mule, allowing the real one to act through him while staying hidden. If true, that's a massive twist, and Magnifico's behavior in this episode only fuels the suspicion.
Arrival at New Terminus. Meanwhile, Beta, Tauren, Randu, and Magnifico reach New Terminus, though not without trouble. Security throws them in the same cell as Pritcher. Tempers flare, old arguments resurface, but eventually they agree. Indbur is out of his depth, and the only way to rally the Foundation and traitors against the Mule is through Magnifico. Getting Indbur on board isn't easy, but eventually he agrees to let Magnifico perform on the Visison for Foundation leadership. And here's the key moment. Magnifico's performance is mesmerizing, almost unnaturally so. The crowd is enchanted, and it's obvious this instrument and its player could play a crucial role in any fight with the Mule. But remember, large-scale mind manipulation tends to happen when Magnifico is around, which means this display might not have been just music. It might have been mental conditioning on a planetary scale.
I'm Harry Seldon.
I am Trentum Imber III.
Digital Seldon's out-of-touch speech. Before anyone can dwell on Magnifico's power, the famed eclipse occurs, and Digital Seldon emerges from the vault. But instead of addressing the Mule threat, he delivers a lecture about the history of the Foundation, the Empire, and the traitors, like he's reading from a script meant for a utopian moment that doesn't exist. It's only when Tauren mentions the Mule that the illusion breaks. Digital Seldon isn't prepared for this reality, and before he can adjust, the real threat arrives.
The Black Tongue!
The Mule attacks New Terminus. The Mule's ship, the Black Tongue, enters orbit and immediately seizes control of New Terminus's defense forces, turning them against each other in the skies above the planet. The chaos is instant. Digital Seldon vanishes, reactivating the vault's null field. This forces everyone out and knocks many unconscious, adding to the casualties as aerial battles rage overhead. Gaal learns of the attack through Demerzel and tries to contact Pritcher, but with everything in free fall, there's little she can do. Tauren, Beta, Randu, and Indbur survive, barely, but Magnifico's fate? That's left hanging. And here is where that real Mule theory spikes again. The mental manipulation in this battle was massive, the kind we've mostly seen when Magnifico is in the picture. If the Mule really only resorts to brute force when Magnifico isn't around, that's a huge clue. It could mean Magnifico is the real Mule, hiding in plain sight. Every smile, every nervous act, every "I'm just a pawn" speech could be a master performance. What's next? If Magnifico really is the Mule, the New Terminus has been compromised from the inside long before the Black Tongue arrived. The question becomes, what's his endgame? Is he trying to destroy the Foundation outright or manipulate it into destroying itself? On the other side, Gaal's vision of the Black Hole and the Invictus suggests her story is headed toward a weapon powerful enough to turn the tide. But can she even get there before the Mule's forces or the Mule himself intercept her? And then there's Demerzel. Her allegiance to the dynasty has always been complicated, but with the second Foundation revealed to her, she's now holding a piece of the puzzle no one else in the Empire fully understands. The choice she makes could decide whether humanity unites against the Mule or hands him to Galaxy on a silver platter. Foundation has a habit of playing the long game with its reveals, and Episode 6 feels like one of those turning points where half the important moves are happening off-screen. We're watching battles and political plays, but the real war is still the one for perception, for control of who knows what and when. If Episode 7 answers even one of these questions, Magnifico's identity, Gaal's role with the Invictus, or Demerzel's next move, we might finally see the real shape of the Second Foundation's plan. Until then, the board is set, the pieces are in motion, and the Mule, whoever he truly is, isn't done yet. Our nerdy thoughts. Foundation has always been a story about long games, hidden plans, and power plays that take centuries to unfold. And Episode 6 is the clearest reminder yet that nothing in this galaxy is as it seems. Gaal's visions, Demerzel's choices, and the Mule's next move could shape the fate of the entire human race if they survive long enough to play them out. But what do you think? Is Magnifico the real Mule? Will Gaal's path to the Invictus turn the tide? Drop your theories in the comments, because next week's episode might just give us the answers or raise even bigger questions.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.